project of examining children's books that impacted my life. So first, here's a copy of my abstract, and it just talks about how this project has impacted me for my Ed 222 class. In there, we talk about how gender, sexuality, and race can really influence you in the field of education. As we get started, I thought it would be good if we just go over a couple terms. Just the difference between gender and sexuality, as in gender refers to those social categories as a male and female, and your actual sexuality has to do with your biological sex, as in XX or XY chromosomes, and then moving on, your sexual orientation refers to those romantic relationships you have, and with gender you prefer to have those with. And then race finally is defined as ethnic groups, as in white, Black, Asian, and Hispanic, etc. Just a little info on me. As you can tell, I'm a white male. I identify straight, and I come from a small suburb outside of Chicago. It's about 20 minutes from here. I come from a really small Christian school. I went there from kindergarten through high school. So when I came here to UIC, it was really eye-opening, and I met so many different kinds of people, and I'll get into that as we move forward. So just a little information on the project that we had to do for my Ed class was we had to examine about 6 to 8 different children's books. We had to present ones that were both good and bad about the topics of race, gender, and sexuality. We had to examine books that were both popular now and books that were popular when I was a child. We had to examine books that had both human characters and books that had to deal with animals. And then after that, we had to write a paper on all of those books, and then present our best and our worst book about how they deal with those topics. Here's a quote from C.S. Lewis: "A children's story that can only be enjoyed by children is not a children's story in the slightest." And his quote just really hit me, because as I examined these books, how much I can learn from these simple stories as a 20-year-old now. Here's the first book I found. The title was "And Tango Makes Three." It's this cute little story about these two male penguins that fall in love during the mating season, and then they eventually get a baby egg, and it hatches, and then now they're a family. So it's a simple story, just talking about how that those kind of families can be accepted. This next book is a very popular book. Many that maybe you were read to as a child, at the Little Engine That Could. In my research in this book, I really saw a lot of gender stereotypes, the different toys that are used, the different color of the trains are all more colors that you would identify as for a male. And then all the characters in this book are all white, both men and female. And then I want to get more into that here. These stereotypes in children's books are real. There's really talk about like gender and race now, and just how many of these stats are just true about the books really are about white. They focus on white, and a lot of them are male characters, as you see on this next slide. It's a very good quote, and as you can see in all these stories, all the main characters are, whether they're human or whether they're animals, most of them are white males. So it just really talks about like how that view we have in society really starts in the children's books. And as you can see here, our view on race, just out on streets, when you see a white male and a black male, there's just a different view that we have. And I think that starts on the books, both on men and gender, but also on women too. The past slide talked about how many books really focus on men characters, and just how our view on women can be skewed at such a young age. Now I want to focus on these two books that I found to be very well, and I want to pass these around so you can all get a visual aid of these. These books just really talk about that message of like everyone is different, how that's okay, and it's okay to be different. As you'll see in this book, every page is a different topic on how that's okay. The biggest themes to take away from this book is it's okay to be different and special in your own way, and that's something that I really want to take away as I go into my future career. So here's a little information on my current work. I currently work for an after-school care and have about 25 kids on a given afternoon, and I also do a lot of coaching on the side. And how these children's books have really impacted my work now. It's okay to like be yourself as a child, and when I work with children, I really see how I could make a difference, and that each child learns differently, and how we should take each child different. Well, like I said, I do some coaching, so I thought this quote really hits on how I want to focus on my future career. A coach must never forget that he is a leader and not merely a person with authority. And I really want to focus on how these books will impact my future career. Like as I said, I'm a white male, so in society I have life pretty good, and I just want to use that education that I got when I was younger to really impact those kids that aren't as grateful as me, and then also as you all tell today. I have a fatal issue with speaking. Ever since I was little, I would always stutter, and it was an issue in school, and I really think in my future career, I could really use that to relate with kids who are getting bullied, or kids who do struggle to speech, because, well, and I was younger, I was always scared to talk in front of people and stuff like that, and now I've gotten over my fear and really accepting who I am as an individual, and I really want to do that and show that's okay to be who you are at a young age, because I think that could be very important. As I end, I just wanted to give a couple suggestions. When you're talking to your children, just be open, like about topics as in like gender, sexuality, and race, and just have them have an open mind view about those topics and other people, and being accepting of those people that look different than them. And finally, I just want to thank you, you all for taking your time today, and I want to thank my family, friends, my professor, and all my classmates, and finally all the kids I work with. And now I want to